proud and exciting moment as we gather here for Industry Institute Interaction event, a platform that bridges the world of academia with the dynamic pulse of industry. I, Arya,
And I will be your host for today's Enlightenment Seminar. This event reflects our Institute's commitment to staying updated with the real-world trends and innovation, especially in the ever-evolving field of software engineering. We are joined today by a galaxy of dignitaries whose vision, leadership, and encouragement help us grow and dream beyond limits. Let us extend a warm and respectful welcome to our visionary campus director, Dr. Abhijit Manesan, who continuously drives excellence through strategic leadership and futuristic thinking. Our dedicated administrative officer, Mr. Suyog Patil sir, who efficiently steers the administrative engine of our institution with commitment and discipline. Our CSE department in charge HOD, Mr. Ganesh Rathod sir, who actively contributes to student and development and technical progress. And last but not least, our Industrial Institute Interaction Dean, Mr. Sanjeev Deshpande sir, whose efforts in building industry connections have brought us all together today. We also extend a warm welcome to all respected faculty members, our dear students, and everyone joining us today.
now it is my honor to introduce our esteemed guest speaker. Someone once walked the side doors we walk today and has now gone on to make waves in global tech landscape. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Bharat P. Meru sir, Principal Software Engineering Manager at Microsoft Azure Functions, currently based in Austin, Texas. Mr. Meru is a technology leader with over a decade of experience in the software industry. At Microsoft, he leads a talented team responsible for development of Python, Node.js, and Java functions. His leadership has led to a 14x growth in Python functions adoption and a 10x increase in recurring revenue. Incredible milestones that showcase his strategic vision and technical expertise. He has previously worked at Facebook, Ursula, and Persistent Systems, handling the large-scale data systems and user engagement analytics. Mr. Meru holds a master's degree in computer science from University of California, Irvine, where he specialized in AI, ML, and deep learning. And what makes today even more special is that he is an alumnus of D.Y. Patil College of Engineering and Technology, graduating with a first class with distinction and ranking among the top 10% of his class. Sir, your story is an inspiration and we are truly honored to welcome you today.
Sir, your presence today is a true moment of pride for all of us. Your journey from this very campus to global heights reminds us that greatness begins with the humble roots. To honor inspiring accomplishments, I would now like to request our campus director, Dr. Abhijit Mane sir, to kindly come forward and felicitate our distinguished guest, Mr. Bharat Meru sir, with a token of appreciation. Thank you, sir, for the graceful moment.
Now, before we hear from Mr. Meru, we would now like to invite our campus director, Dr. Abhijit Mane sir, to kindly address the gathering and share his insights on the importance of such industry-academia partnerships.
Good morning. Uh, First of all, I would like to congratulate all your staff members who made a point to call Bharat over here. I am fortunate enough to have mentored him somewhere because in Mauda campus he was my student and we used to interact because I was part of that cultural cells and all that. So during culturals he used to be with us for a long time. So that this is also important. When you are in cultural, you grow laterally it is not only in your classrooms, it is also all around because that enhances your team, team spirit, working with your colleagues, interacting with your seniors and juniors. Everything happens over there. So being into the institution, being into the campus really helps you a lot. It's not only the classrooms, it's all around. Thank you, Bharat, for making a point when sparing your time and trying to interact with our students, enlighten them. So as she rightly said, he's working for Microsoft for so many years, and he will let you know like Satya Nadella and how he is connected to him. And we just think of watching these people, but he works with them. So this is not just an honor, this is actually a responsibility because when you prove yourself, you go these ladders up above. And I'm really happy for all you computer icon people. So you are having plenty of opportunities, like, and now you are given the option. You are spoiled by the option of I want this or I don't want that. So into this thing, whatever the confusions are there, so many options are available, so many domains are there. What really I feel that I can relate myself with a particular domain or where I find myself down the line after 10 years. Whatever the questions are, please start reframing those questions with your ask him. He's very much, of course, he is now techie professional, but still he is very much connected to the campuses. He makes a point to get connected with the campus. He is connected with Gowda campus, and also he made a point to connect with us. He will be interacting with the faculty henceforth also, and he will be, whenever he is down in India or in Kolhapur, he will make a point to connect with us. So this is really a very good gesture from a techie, from an alumni probably of our group, I would say. So, so that is my only urge to all of you that you get your doubts cleared, and since you know many times we are behind you that attend this training, attend this placement activity or drive or whatever it is, but you have your own concepts, you have your own thoughts, you have your own figure of packages, whatever. I bless all of you get more packages than that. But first, you need to slog yourself. You need to work for that. So you are missing that point. काम करायला पाहिजे तिथे थोडंसं काम करायला पहिल्यांदा आणि ते पॅकेजेस नंबर्स नक्की वाढतील बिकॉज युअर फील्ड इटसेल्फ इज वास्ट अँड ह्यूज इनफ अँड द वे द टेक्नॉलॉजी इज चेंजिंग ते लेटेस्ट इतकं फास्ट झालं ते लेटेस्ट काय म्हणजे वी आर लेट अँड इट बिकम्स लेटेस्ट काय you really don't know when it becomes late. आजची टेक्नॉलॉजी उद्या आहे का नाही माहित नसतं. So if this is fast, it's so fast or ever-changing field, then certainly it becomes our, I would say, responsibility to upgrade ourselves to be abreast with the new changes which are happening, so that you can really find the best of the opportunities which are available. In this gathering today, a Microsoft guy is going to stand in front of you. Today there should be some sparks. Today there should be some dreams which should be taking place, which should born out of your, fertile minds that, okay, down the line, 10 वर्षानंतर मी तिथं उभारणार मायक्रोसॉफ्टचा माणूस म्हणून येणार. आज व्हायला पाहिजे, आज ठरवलं पाहिजे, आज ते तरी ठरवलं. स्वप्न बघायला काही कुणाचं हे लागत नाही, काय कुणाची परवानगी लागत नाही, पण ती स्वप्न आज रंगवूया तिथं. ऑन दिस नोट I literally would appeal all of you that you see, you visualize, and try and work for the dream of reaching a company like Microsoft, maybe Microsoft. आज एक 50-100 विद्यार्थी आहेत तिथे, निदान 20-25 विद्यार्थ्यांचं मायक्रोसॉफ्ट टार्गेट आता डिसाईड व्हायला पाहिजे आणि त्या लाईन्सवर त्यांनी वरला पिडलं पाहिजे किंवा मला मायक्रोसॉफ्टला जायचं, मला काहीच येत नाही, मी काय करू. दॅट वुड बी द बेस्ट बेस लाईन टू स्टार्ट विथ, लाईक पण काहीच येत नाही असं होऊ शकणार नाही. So, but I am ready to work for this many years. I am ready to work on this technology. This should be something, and I would request this your faculty members so that he will be continuously in touch with you, so that you will be able to have good knowledge sharing, and some resources can be shared down the line. Of course, whatever projects you are working, technologies you are working on, that can also be conveyed to him, and you can get an expert advice from him. So, on this note, I once again request all of you to pay full attention into this and try and exploit this interaction. And if interaction होते तो एकटाच बोलेल असं नको तुम्हाला जे काय no question is a foolish question. It becomes foolish when it is not asked. So nothing is damn foolish. You make a point to ask that, and then you will certainly clarify that with full clarity. I once again congratulate all the organizers who have made this point, and thank you, Bharat, for coming down. It really means a lot to us. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, sir, for your guidance and your unwavering support. And now, the moment we've all been waiting eagerly. Let us now hand over the session to Mr. Valadveru sir, who will take us through the recent trends in software engineering, share his journey, and offer valuable insights into how emerging technologies like generative AI are transforming our future. May I kindly request our esteemed faculty members be seated on the dais to please take their seats in front row. Sir, the stage is yours.
Can you hear me? At the back? Echo is it? Till the meantime, the display, let them figure out where the display is coming in. But in the meantime, at least, I'll reiterate what Palisar said. Please use this opportunity to ask any questions. You can ask dumb questions like what is data structures? Not dumb questions, very profound questions. But you can ask any kind of question or have your point said as well. I'm okay with just understanding what you are thinking. Because as just understanding, I graduated in 2011. I'm still pretty new in this tech world. That's what I've been in Microsoft only for like 9 years, 9.5 years now. I'm still more connected to college grads. I have a team of many college grads as well, so I can understand what like you are trying to at least think. So please don't feel shy. I think the word you should definitely take a expert session as much as possible, so that it should be worth your time and it should be worth my time. If you feel it is not worth your time, you can feel free to leave. I do not have any issue, because it should be worth my time as well of spending this time with you. Till the time I think that display thing gets here, at least I can. So, can I? How is this? Test 1, 2, 3. Check, check. Okay. Awesome. So again, the talk is very simple. What is product engineering? Because to me, service engineering don't know plus now you might have heard how service industry is. I'm just trying to give you another view of like how a product industry is. For example, if you're using any product, you might be using Savan, you might be using Geo Hotstar, or you might be using YouTube, or you might be using any. How are these products made? Because again, what's the difference between Microsoft, Google, and Infosys and Mindtree? Who's our product? In Infosys and Mindtree, your brain is their product. Like you as a developer for hire is their product. But in our case, my product is something that many people would use. So just before jumping, a very brief overview of like what I've done. I came into Kolhapur in 2007. 2011, I graduated with computer science degree from Kalpawada. That's how I met Mani sir because of some cultural activities. There was a college thing that we did, so that's how we connected. And then one of my professors was my classmate, so that's how I got connected with this college. After that, I graduated and I joined Persistent. For a year, I was there. Um, my final year, I had an internship as well. So internships definitely helped me a lot in getting that job at Persistent. Um, I was there only for a year because I wanted to try something on like new, not stay in the typical like, mentality. So there was a startup called Ozota. I joined the startup for 2 years. Uh, in 2009, I already had made up my mind कि भाई कुछ तो masters करना है. Like I cannot use this current degree only to help me. So 2010 I gave my gate, 2011 I gave my gate. Gate taught me a lot about engineering, way more than like anything else. क्योंकि गेट में you get the सच्चाई of what is your score. ठीक है? No, you can't make up your mind. Gate में you can't fake it. The score that you get in gate is your score. So how much you know about operating systems, you will only know when you are actually in front of an examination. Yes, उसके बाद पता चलेगा कि like if I am worth 12 lakhs or 15 lakhs or if I am worth 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs. Okay? Like in a way that was the mechanism that I used. Uh, Then after Oxford, I went to UC Irvine. It's a university in California. It's a very small town called Irvine. At that time, it was, I think, 29th best in the United States, so it's pretty higher. And my focus was only on machine learning, AI, deep learning, and data management at that time. So the subjects I took in 2010 for my final year project, I had interest in recommendation engines, like recommendation engine क्या होता है. I was curious to know when I am. There was a problem in watching television for me. Yeah, I would always miss. अरे वो match 7 बजे का है, or I would just miss it because there was something else I'm watching. तो उस टाइम पे टीवी देखते समय मुझे लगा कि अरे यार something should have recommended that hey, this is the types of matches you normally see. Of course, with Tata Sky now you can do it, but at that time it was just pure cable television. So that is what triggered me the interest of recommendation engines. So final year project for my BE, which I did with 4 other friends, was to build a recommendation engine. And for that we used clustering, data mining and all that. That one small act of not able to watch football match in time made my whole journey into recommendation engines. At Persistent as well, I built recommendation engine only. So now you can say, where are these interesting projects coming from? You in a way attract those projects. If you are interested and if you are really trying it again and again, you will get those projects. So then again, during my masters, I did an internship at Facebook. I think I was the only one ever from Shivaji University at that time to be in Facebook at that time. And of course, there are many people now who have joined. But back in 2014, 2015, when Zug used to sit like literally 30 feet away from me, and I was the only person from Shivaji University like at Facebook at that time. I didn't want to join Facebook because I felt I wanted to do more hardcore cloud engineering. So I had offers from Salesforce, Facebook, Spotify, and then Microsoft. I eventually chose to do Microsoft. Again, this is purely my journey. I joined as a software engineer, grew to a software engineer 2 in a couple of years. Again, then the path has followed. Became a senior, became a manager, and then now principal manager. As Sir said, like Satya is like 5 levels above me. Not very close, but still not very far now. And I have a team of 8 people right now under me, ranging from like different types of universities, like UT Austin, Princeton, to Mumbai University. So like a wide gamut of people are like who are working with me. One important declaration: anything that I'm saying are my own opinions and nothing to do with Microsoft. I just want to be very clear. Nothing is official by Microsoft. Okay, so what do I do? I think someone had mentioned I lead. There's a small team called Azure Functions. It's a team of like 50-55 people, and I have a pillar in that team. So I run serverless company. Okay. You don't have to worry about these concepts right now. And if you're interested, I would love to talk about functions with you. Then in Microsoft itself, I have not done a lot of .NET, which is a very rarity in Microsoft because Microsoft is known for .NET. my department is known for .NET, but I mainly do Python, Node, and Java, and Go and Ruby. That has been my experience. Uh, I am also the point of contact for anything AI within functions. So last like 1.5 years, all the AI experiments within functions are like in my domain. And last 6 months, I've only been doing AI right now and nothing else. And I'll give you some example of like how I do AI as well. And then of course, there are millions of customers who are using it. So I have to make sure that it is reliable, performant, it should not go down. So, about this talk, again, we cover mostly how product engineering works, how product actually is being built. Then how we transform it, what is the difference between education and reality, okay? And then how can you bridge that gap? Like, if you are learning everything right now, there is still some gap that I felt not only from your not only from the education side, but from the industry side as well, where we do not make it very clear okay, what is expected from the students. So, first things, what you think software engineering is not what it is. If you think software engineering is, it is not like that. Okay? It is not about writing perfect code. It is not about like algorithmic development. It is not about like some core concept. Mostly it is still a people problem. The same kind of problems like Mane sir might be trying to solve here on how do you divide the problem, how do you simplify the problem, how do you make sure that people are talking to each other. So it's the same problem that is also happening here. So it's 80% collaboration and 20% code. Then we try to solve a problem not for now, but for 2030 or for 2035. Because every decision that we have taken now will stick forever. There have been decisions that in 2014 were taken that we are still trying to get out of within our team. क्योंकि किसी ने 2014 में सोचा कि अरे वो path अच्छा था, and we are still living with that one. Okay, so that's the problem that we are trying to solve. Third, how to be very data driven. Me बोलते हैं मम्मी चाहते हैं, it does not work there. Okay, me बोलते हैं because I have some data behind it. I'll show you one very small example, but that's one important thing. And then fourth, you have to continuously learn. Like, if I have to survive, I cannot survive with my own knowledge. The knowledge that I gained 2 years ago is now already assumed that I have already known. I have to now start thinking, hey, what is next? So that's the idea. So a very simple look into what product engineering looks. The first problem is, hey, let's understand the problem. So what does understanding mean? So, like for example, the problem that we were trying to solve with functions is customers do not want to use their infrastructure. That's it. They just want to write code and then forget about it. Yeah, so that's a problem to solve. Now, how do you solve it? So you have to now start thinking, okay, let's reach out to users. Let's ask them, survey them. Let's try to see how they use their existing thing. Do market research, do data gathering. You basically try to do a lot of that. That's, I know it is assumed that you would do it, but very few people actually do it. Like who really dive deeper into it. If I just an example. This is just a simple problem requirement that I have made. Because this is not for this is not for this is not for like a very big feature, but a small feature. Yeah. I am going to prove that we should do some XYZ feature. This is the name of the feature. Yeah. I would try to give some background. What's the data? Why is it the most useful? Yeah. I would try to show in this data combination why the thing that I'm trying to propose is important. I would basically try to create a doc like this. And if I zoom out, it's not a very big doc. It's like a 4-page doc where I'm trying to do like, hey, this is a problem, and I'm trying to propose an approach. So for every problem that you just got in the first phase, then you go into the mode of, then you start figuring out what the solutions can be. Okay? That's where your creativity comes in. It's not only you as an engineer, but you as a product manager, you as a manager, would start thinking about, okay, what is the solution? For example, currently your faculty has had a problem of organizing a lecture. So now, there is no one magical solution. Hey, lecture is hard. Okay? It has to be broken down into problem. In algorithmic words, it is divide and conquer in some ways. You are dividing the problem, you are conquering the problem. But you have to structure it as well. You have to have key performance indicators as well. अरे ये problem का ये solution face था. Now let's figure out what are the three things which I can control. There is performance of the product or the solution, the feature set, and the speed to market. The third thing is extremely important. If it is not in time, it will die. The problem will die because the problem itself has changed. The people have changed. If iPhone like 16 now does not come in time, Samsung will take over the market. So that problem to solution space also has to understand these three metrics. Now, how can you apply in your final year project goals or your project goals? Why do you have milestones? These milestones are mainly for that. Your milestones are mainly to figure out, hey, speed to market is also important. Not only I'll do the biggest best product. Any questions till now? I know I've been talking for at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Any questions? Now the third thing, okay, someone has proposed a technical solution. Now let's start figuring out how to architect the problem. That's where I think a technical architect normally comes in. You have a group of engineers coming together. There's like a principal engineer from our team who would try to work with like a PM and try to figure out okay, how the solution can be built. Now all the algorithmic thinking that you have done, data structure thinking you have done, I am assuming that the principal engineer already knows about that. उसके बाद this is being applied. Finally, the 20% piece comes in. Okay, the solution has been accepted. Solution will have bugs, but still it has been accepted. Depending on the three metrics I mentioned, okay, feature set, performance, and speed to market, and then development starts. One important thing, modern practice now, like for example, when we deploy things, we don't deploy it into everywhere. Now, if you think WhatsApp, when WhatsApp deploys a new bit, you are not getting it immediately on day one. First, it will be deployed to New Zealand, then to Australia. They'll see hey, how many bugs are happening, how many crashes are happening, how many messages are getting dropped, not dropped. Then only they start turning it on. That's where feature flags comes in. So now you have to be very structured as well. Like, for example, you might have a very equivalent example in college would be, for example, approving money. Like, for example, now someone has to approve money, like director has to approve money. But it's not directly the director has to approve money. It has to go through these checks and balances. Hey, does the receipt look good? Is there no fake fraud charges? The extra is approved. Then finally it goes through. It's almost like that. When we do coding, we have to always think, hey, are these checks and balances actually in place or not? If they are not, we cannot release it. We should always assume for the worst as well. There was a very big glitch in WhatsApp, these messages started vanishing. We have to put it back immediately. Now, some more things. These are things which are not taught normally in engineering. For example, knowing your tools very well. Do you know IDE? Do you know OS? OS only कितने tools are. Do you really know them? Okay. Then how do you store the source code? Where do you store the source code? Do you use Git? Do you use GitHub? Do you use DevOps? All these things are not normally taught. You have to learn them on yourself. Like continuous integration, continuous testing. You have to start thinking about these problems. I think debugging is one thing that we always assume that we look at the code and debug. But in production, when customer is running their code, they can't look at your code. So they will only look at your logs. So that's why log analysis becomes a very important thing that you have to learn. And now, fifth, getting it to the user, getting it to the customer. Now that WhatsApp binary has come in, how does it get to you? Okay. It has to be deployed somehow. So that's where again, those CI/CD pipeline deployment happens. There are some checks. There are systems having the stage rollouts. It happens country to country, region to region. And then it's very loud. Now, one very key thing to understand is monitoring. I think तुम्ही सगळ्यांनी बघितलं असणार की अरे माझा report इथे ship and then my life is done. No, that's where the life starts. Okay. Shipping the code is just a step one. Okay. The real key is how do you sustain it. Okay. So तुम्ही कधी डॉक्टर्सला बघितलं असणार they are on call for 48 hours म्हणजे त्यांना इमर्जन्सी रूम मध्ये I think 48 तास कंटिन्यूअसली जागा लागते because they have to survive the pressure. Residency मध्ये असणार आपण आता रात्री 3 वाजता पण प्रेग्नन्सी होऊ शकते like डॉक्टर काय म्हणते अरे माझा 9 to 5 जॉब आहे. Similarly, engineers cannot say they have 9 to 5 job. When my service runs and there are important things running on my service, if my service is not running in the way I want it to, or the customer expects, I have to be on call. I can get a call anytime in the day. And that I think is the important thing that you have to understand. Database is stored at 2 a.m. is a reality. I think तुम्हाला कधी पण असं मोठे पॅकेज दिसत असतात आणि मायक्रोसॉफ्टचे फ्रेशर 25 लाख मिळाले. पण तुम्हाला हे पण कळायला पाहिजे की मायक्रोसॉफ्टचं फ्रेशर ऑलमोस्ट 24 तास राहायला पाहिजे. सो तेवढी तुमची मेहनत करायची कॅपॅसिटी पण पाहिजे. यू हॅव टू अंडरस्टँड दिस प्रेशर. And I think that is one key difference in industry versus academia. Academia, we are very theoretical. I built my jar file, or I built my DLLs, now the EXE ready and I am done. No, EXE done is just you are giving it to the customer. But then the customer has to use it, the customer will try it, they will really send like 100,000 messages on top of it, they will crash the system, they will complain. Because they are the ones who are giving money. Now, similarly, तुम्ही पण तेच एक्सपेक्ट करणार तुमच्या प्रॉडक्टसाठी पण. आता तुम्हाला YouTube बघायचं आहे आणि YouTube चालू नाही आहे, you will be frustrated. It's the same mentality that monitoring brings in. You have to be always on top of things. And आजचा टॉकचा समजा तुम्हाला टेक अवे घेऊन जायचं असेल तर I would tell you these two things. First is like figure out how to think about the customer, your users of your product as someone who are going to be always coming in at 3 a.m. and knocking your door. कोणी पण तुम्हाला असं वाटत असतं की 3 o'clock करू शकते, you will try to write better code, you will try to write better systems क्योंकि मला रात्री जागायचं नाही आहे. A lot of decisions that we make actually do take place like that. अरे रात को कोई मुझे कॉल किया चाहिए उसके लिए मैं डबल टेस्टिंग करूंगा या फिर आई डू ट्रिपल टेस्टिंग टू मेक श्योर दैट आई एम नॉट गेटिंग कॉल. सो 24/7 मॉनिटरिंग या फिर इंसिडेंट रिस्पॉन्स. इंसिडेंट येणारच आहे. देयर विल बी बग्स. आई हैव डिप्लॉयड bugs which has impacted like I can easily tell like 100,000 customers as well. But it is a reality. It will happen. You have to figure out how to solve that problem. And then user feedback continuously get right. That's a problem that you have to think. And then whatever you do, this is just the phase one. You then try to think, if I did approach A versus approach B, what would have been better? You are testing that as well. And then version next get out. That is a product. Products are built with this iteration of from an idea to culmination and then starting it back. So product life cycle can be like ranging from like 2 weeks, like a very small feature that we want, to 2 years or 3 years now. For example, if I want to launch a new iPhone, it is 3-year project. So this is a very small example of how products are done. Of course, I showed you you have to make dogs like this. This is a dog that I wrote. I have goal क्या होगा, guiding principle क्या होंगे. This is the data that I try to customer को क्या friction है. Because I think I am not writing code for the sake of writing code. I am writing code to solve a problem. अगर वो मुझे कोड से प्रॉब्लम नहीं सॉल्व होगा, एक ईमेल से प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगा, आई विल स्टार्ट राइटिंग ईमेल्स. Okay? I think code is a way to solve a problem. Any, irrespective of any department that you go, again, what the civil engineer is doing is writing blueprints, and then they are not the one who are constructing it. They're still doing blueprints. I think you are also doing the same thing. It's nothing different. But and the people problem that everyone is trying to solve is the problem that we are also trying to solve. Just that for which we are getting paid handsomely because these problems have a lot of impact. Okay. So far so good. Okay. So now, okay, I've shown you how product engineering works. Okay. But now let me show you how AI is affecting everything and how it might actually impact you. Okay. And I'll try to show you with a live example. Just 1, 2, 3, okay. So try to show you example this slide itself, the slide that I made. You don't have to worry about what has Bharat written. Don't worry about that. I'll try to show you a little more highlight which is on the right. Now, anything that I start coding, yeah, that even if it's an idea document, I right now open my Copilot on my right. Yeah. This is basically my Copilot. Yeah. Example: this edit is half written by Copilot, half written by me. Yeah. What I was saying, hey, I'm working on a talk. Who's the target? Who's the audience? Yeah. That's another. What I really want to cover. Yeah. These are things that I'm actually telling it. And I told it, hey, please create a markdown slide. It started diving deeper. Yeah. I'm just giving you a very easy example. I can just say, hey, the can you please make a handout that I can give. Oh, I do not have internet, sorry. Can I join the internet? Hopefully, I should be able to join the internet. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'm trying again. Okay, yeah. Now, my day normally starts on the right hand side. It does not even start on the left hand side. So, for example, there's a project that I'm doing. There's a AI agent that I'm building. Everything is still on the right. Okay? As like, hey, take a look at the terminal, try to figure out all the solutions. So now what I'm trying to show you is how GPT या फिर chatbots are actually being used in my ideas. Okay? So now let's create a new project. Now let's make a new project. Okay? आता for example मला तुमच्या डिपार्टमेंटसाठी सतत काहीतरी रिक्वायरमेंट आहे, ठीक आहे? You want to create a department website. Yeah? A department website which is for the library. Okay? Now, how the sources that I was telling you, product, user research, all that is now getting shrunken. Okay? So now I start. Hey, help me create a small for knowledge of engineering. Okay. I'll give it a title when anything later. This is to book keep the department library books. That's it. I start doing that. The site should have an admin.
section and students should be able to hold books. That's it. So now my time starts. AI with agent mode, with a lot of things, will start doing. It is not trying to come up with its own idea. Okay, how the department should look like. Okay, it has an admin section, it has a student section. It automatically thought of an authentication section. I didn't think of it. And it automatically thought in a Node.js use kar deta hu. There is now package.json which automatically got generated. In the meantime, I'll have a chat with you. And that's where I think a lot of this whole thing is moving. There are, like, in every project that I've done right now, I can show you, like, for example, this project is opening. Yeah. So, for example, yeah. Sorry, I don't find the folder, but yeah, every project that I now start, my left hand side will always start doing its things that I am always thinking. Yeah? And the same thinking, if I go on chat, if I go on chatgpt.com, I do not know if it is blocked or not here. This is where again these projects are coming in. Yeah? For example, I need to do functions bootstrap. Yeah? I will now start using ChatGPT as a way to ideate about the project. What does that mean? I will start again from scratch. Arey, मला काहीतरी डोक्यात idea आहे. ठीक आहे? I really want to do it. I start talking to ChatGPT a lot. Yeah? You can see it's a lot of conversations. The scroll bar is too small for it to show. Yeah? Because I'm continuously talking to it, trying to figure out, like for example, hey, this is the problem that I'm getting. Yeah, sorry, I'm actually trying to really go up. Hey, I'm literally asking, hey, can you give me a programming buddy? Yeah. And then I try to ask it, okay, I'm working on a web app, just then it starts thinking about the problem with me. And I think, oh, nahi, I think you're overthinking as well. That's the whole mentality shift that you have with AI. So now again, all the stuff that I showed you, user research, that does not go away. I still need to talk to my potential customers. Customers are ask different problems, but my expectation about speed of the problem and the on the fly the problem agent is still creating it. I'm not even bothering right now. Yeah? But the thinking that I have, I mean, one more thing is it is asynchronous. मला दर महिन्यात त्याच्या पाठिंबा बघायला लागत नाही. मला रात्री 3 वाजता पण कधी आयडिया येऊ शकतं आणि सकाळी 10 वाजता पण आयडिया येऊ शकतं. I just put it here and then it starts thinking again. And that is where the whole, like for example, hey, what my model should be, कुठले कुठले nullable पाहिजे. I start thinking about micro details, but then I also start thinking about the macro details as well. Hey, what type of problem is going to do? And this is where AI is actually playing a picture. This is where AI is changing the whole game. It is speeding up the whole development. एक project ज्याला normally 3 से 4 महीने लगायचे, now it only takes 2 weeks. Now, which means we can fail faster as well. If the product is done, let us fail faster. Let us not fail after 3 months. Let us fail even sooner. But if the product is nice, in 2 weeks we get to show it to the customer. Customers say, "Wow," or they can say, "Crap," and then I can already take newer requirements for the customer. Now customers are spoiled कि त्यांना काय पाहिजे. They are now way more demanding. So what does that mean for you as an engineer? You have to understand how to speed up and how to be more efficient. The projects that you are trying to do right now might not be as efficient as this. But now the world is expecting you to be way more efficient. If you now think of it, I have not coded a single line yet. Still someone is doing my work. So now I start thinking about the problems more. Okay, what does the library, what else does the library need? Library might have a concept of like holds, checkouts, but also some notifications. If someone is delaying their books after 14 days, how do I figure out? There should be an email system which will notify. Okay, what is this library need? Do I need to figure out a system where we are not only notifying on emails but on SMSs? What if customers are asking extension? अरे हाँ मला 14 दिवसात नाही मला 21 दिवसात रिटर्न करायचं आहे. Now I'm just thinking about the problems. I'm not thinking about the solution space. Because problem space is more interesting. Problem space actually gives you the things to do. And in तुमच्या केसमध्ये, especially because of the projects, we think too much about the solution. अरे मी कसं solve केलं. But if it is solved, to be honest, like Manasa would not care how it is solved as long as his work is done. And how my manager always would tell me, done is better than perfect. We always want things to be done and let's move on. AI is making things done way faster, and that's where the world is moving. Of course, you might be using ChatGPT a lot as well, way more than me. I'm not saying that you are not. I am just like to tell, like within Microsoft itself, there are people who do not use it yet at the level that I think the world is going to change. Like for example, curriculum. Like I feel ChatGPT will not replace people, but it will reduce the need of people in some way. So for example, in 2030, if you might say a team would have 30 people, I would say now the team would have 20 people. And the 10 people would be overcome by agents. So now, how can you make yourself unique? You can make yourself unique by being ready for that. I think, of course, 90% of you will still be exploring ChatGPT because I know 90% of the engineers are still in Microsoft, not like playing out as aggressively as I want. But I think this is where the whole thing is completely changing now. Like before AI, it would all be manual analysis. Like we would like do a feedback panel, customers have reported all these things. We would now make ChatGPT summarize everything. Like, hey, what does the customer want to say? Let's try to get as fast as possible on that as well. So that's one example. I've already shown you how Copilot is helping. It's still working. It's doing its work. I will not stop it. So that whole thing is happening. My documentation is now automatically getting generated. And documentation is getting generated for other LLMs to read. Because आता Google search कोणी करतच नाही. आता everyone is asking. So my documentation is more important as well. My tests are getting generated. I want to show that example, but I'm not. I'll just find that example for you because I'm really excited about it. Yes, I'll just take a second. This is an interesting example for me because I've been working on this problem for a long time. So this is something that I'm working on. You don't have to worry about all of that. I just want to show you one folder in this. These are all the tests that the Copilot produced for me. For everything that I'm doing, there's a test that is being generated. Every idea that I have, there's a test being generated. And this whole problem, like I think this is around 4,000 lines of code. I have written no more than 50 to 100 lines of code right now. But for me to reach that stage, it has taken me 10 years to understand what 4,000 lines of code it is writing. Okay? So for your level, when you are thinking, ChatGPT said, yes, it will do it, but you will not understand it unless you have spent the time. In my case, I have spent a lot of time for it to give me those lines of code, and I understand now what crap it writes and what good things it writes. And that is something that you have to also understand. Ki, in this line, when you see any code completion and GitHub Copilot will already do it, if you are not ready for it, it will produce beautiful crap code. Okay? तुम्हारा non-working beautiful code से कोई फायदा नहीं है. And that's the whole phase that you have to now start thinking about. Okay? So I think the takeaway is here, 30 to 50% more optimization. So now when companies come, जे तुम्हाला बघणार तुमच्या resume मध्ये, अरे हाँ तुम्हाला थोडं prompt engineering येते, तुमच्या project मध्ये तुम्ही RAG किंवा अशा टाईपचे AI चे tools वापरले. They understand that you now understand AI more, which means you can be a little more efficient engineer. Suddenly तुमची employability वाढते. And that I think is one more thing. Of course, all the things that I mentioned, monitoring, life side, log analysis, everything is still important. But I think this is something that you have to now understand as well. AI operations. आता आमच्याकडे रात्री 2 वाजता कुठेतरी false alarm आला. Now there is no human which is getting awake because there is an AI bot which is listening to that false alarm and answering that automatically. Hey, this is transient thing. Let's not awake a human. Let's not wake up a human. So that is where AI also is coming. Okay. Now, this is in a way, I think what I am. This is okay. These are again purely my thoughts. I personally feel serious education is extremely important still. क्योंकि तुम्हें foundation सिखाना है. You are learning algos, you are learning data structures, you are learning like really fundamental things. Knowing a language is not as exciting as using a language. ठीक है? हमारा Python लेते हैं, या फिर हमारा C++ लेते हैं. But if you can do all of that with mathematical thinking, या फिर like to solve a problem, then I think AI will only make you better. AI will not replace you. And that I think is a takeaway for every department. Not only for computer science. For every department, AI is a multiplier. तुम्ही कसं काम करता त्याच्यावर it will multiply and give you that 30%, 40% Iron Man boost. Yeah? तुम्ही नाही काम केलं तर of course it cannot help you much. Yeah? Now, where I feel you have to now push yourself. तुमचे projects वगैरे मध्ये भरपूर येतात. तुमच्या प्रोजेक्टला तुम्ही प्रॉडक्ट सारखं कधी विचार नाही करता. आपण त्याला फक्त टिक मार्क आणि 50 मार्काचे साठी विचार करतो. We never actually push ourselves where my project actually can be useful. I still am happy that I got to do a very good PE project for which I actually learned how to build a product, how to do the research, how to do theory. That I think is something that is going to be important for you all as well. And that, again, spend 80% of your time talking to each other, convincing each other. Because at the end, that is what you're going to do in the industry. Politics from IT मध्ये असणारच आहे. There's no politics. At Microsoft, I cannot even talk how much like shit you have to go through. So that's the whole problem that you still have to figure out how to solve the problems. Technology is only going to help in solving the business problem for you, not the people problem. तुम्हाला WhatsApp मध्ये कोणाला मेसेज करायलाच लागणार आहे. And that is the connection that you have to start making. Okay. Now, what are the essential skills? Of course, very basic is prompt engineering. Like for example, like a file engine is done, so let it go. But prompts that I am giving here, given the prompt that I gave to like other places, let me go here. Like where I'm actually being very strict as well with, hey, we are partially there. कुठं काम करत आहे, कुठं काम करत नाही आहे. That prompt engineering is still going to be useful for you. So तुमचे projects मध्ये तुम्ही AI समजा बसू शकला. They are still going to be useful for your understanding. Very basic machine learning AI understanding is now a must-have for every department. Be it production engineering, be it civil engineering, be it mechanical engineering, तुम्हाला AI as a tool आलाच पाहिजे. Because I think I was telling you to Manesha as well. I am using ChatGPT as my architect because we are designing something. ChatGPT is literally something that I am actually discussing. त्याला तुम्ही literally वास्तुचे parameters दिले तरी हा नॉर्थ ईस्ट हे असले पाहिजे and now try to fit the whole thing. You have to now start thinking that as a second brain that you can now start discussing with. Your projects now should also figure out how AI and humans are working with each other. So that's one more thing. And again, I think the last line is extremely important. do not assume AI generated stuff is good. Be critical. जैसे तुम्हें अपने peers का critical असता, be critical of AI as well. AI is not going to be the magic tool. It will try to give you something. You have to be the judge that it is it right or not. Or your action plan. Of course, first, please the AI tools. It's a thing for in general for faculty, for teachers, for everyone. Play with ChatGPT for a problem that you're trying to solve, not for the sake of AI. Yeah? And build projects like that. So I think make this a self example. There is like college chatbot. What if DYP Saruthi Nagar becomes a chatbot? Okay? Now you have a problem. Hey, where is the form to request a reimbursement for entry in your studies? Okay? That is a very genuine question. You have to manage such a question as that. Hey, what is the past rate of what is the trend of last 5 years for that department? Okay? Because he might be thinking like 5-year plan, 10-year plans. Okay? Hey, such a type of problem that one chatbot should be able to answer. Okay, within a such a type of project. AI to study a session. My wife is a teacher and she's been using ChatGPT to help explain her the topics in a simpler way. Well, we were talking about horizontal wave versus translational waves in the physics story, physics and data. So we are trying to talk about, hey, what is translational waves? Custom visualize correct. So we are trying to simplify it as simple as possible. So Tuchi teachers will try to do the best for algorithms, data structures, computer organization. You should use this as a way to simplify the concepts. तुम्हाला कळत नाही म्हणून मी वाचत नाही is the wrong attitude now. You do not have the permission to be average anymore. Okay? At Microsoft, we now do not have the permission to be average as well. आता because of these tools, everyone has to become a little plus. Okay? So if you do not understand 8085 microprocessor, you will tell it to ChatGPT, explain what like pin number 10 does. You will tell, and त्याला ते शिकवलंच पाहिजे तुम्हाला. तुम्हाला तसं शिकायला लागणार. There is no permission to now say no. And of course, like medium term, मध्ये figure out what cloud platforms are. And I think how another take over focus on something which is complete. Example, it is doing this. Let me start. Now it is actually starting up the server. So now let me actually show this. This is now a complete system that we now start running. But again, it is not complete in that sense. Still, actually, hopefully it should show. Okay. There is a website that was created while I was talking. Okay. There is a student registration. There is an access library. Everything got created while I was actually talking. So this is the work that you are actually going to be. की जिथं माझे प्रॉब्लेम्स मी फक्त विचार करत राहिलो सोल्युशन इथं बनत राहणार and if you are not ready for it you left behind because the world is moving faster than you think. I think everyone is a product manager in that sense. Everyone is trying to solve a product that I think you have to now start understanding for every faculty you all are products at the end. तुमचा success कसं झालं हेच ते फक्त बघायला लागेल at the end. You have nothing. Your career is also your outcome. That's okay. Now, questions and discussions for me. Okay, topics we can discuss. I have got these things, but I think you had also collected some questions beforehand. So, but with that, I think I'll hand it over to. But I just want to understand that makes sense. This talk in a show of hands, and it did make sense or it did not make sense. If you have any open questions, please do let me know.
First of all, that was truly an insightful session, sir. So yeah, we have collected a few questions beforehand.
How has the software development lifecycle evolved at Microsoft with the integration of AI tools like GitHub Copilot?
I think you just saw it. There used to be a time when we used to plan for 6 months. Now we don't plan for 6 months. We plan for 3 months. But there are side projects which are always running. That talk that I showed is a part of a side project. And side projects eventually become main projects in the future 3 months. But that side projects, thanks to AI, can now be tried way faster. Because what is my job by default is to create new products. Okay? So if I keep on doing that, my life cycle has become way faster because of that. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Anybody has any questions? Anyone?
Come on, one question. One.
मराठीत विचारा तरी चालेल.
चालेल, but कशातून चालेल?
हा विचार.
ठीक आहे.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
So my name is Ritesh, and my question is how to crack Microsoft or any product-based company, because there are multiple YouTubers and social media influencers. They are saying data security is important.